Now, snare drum. This snare drum, I first wanted to briefly explain why it's this colour. When the Gretsch drum company approached me quite a while ago about releasing a snare drum, obviously I was very flattered by it, for they wanted to put my name on a snare drum. And for those who may not know, Gretsch are known as the Rolls-Royce of drums, literally. They're an amazing drum company, been around for a long time. So when Fred Gretsch and his people thought, okay, let's do a drum for this part of the world, and they put my name on it, very, very lucky. So they asked me what size did I want it, what colour did I want, etc., etc. Colour at first was a bit hard to work out. Then I thought, hang on, why don't I go wood grain? Because if I go wood grain, every drum looks different. If it's white, they all look white. If it's black, they all look black. If it's a glittery one, it's got glitters on it, maybe in 10 years' time it will look silly. Wood grain never goes out of fashion. It's always in fashion. Gold, I like gold. I thought the hardware on a snare drum is the metal bits. So it comes with the gold hardware. They even put a gold snare wire on it, which is nice. It's 10 ply in width, the shell, and it's 6.5 inches in depth. And the reason I wanted a deep drum was my first snare drum I ever got, my father bought for me in the late 1970s, and it was a Gretsch, and I hated it because it looked really bad, because it was old. I love it. It's my second favourite snare drum. And I modelled this snare drum on that. I wanted the same sort of size and dimensions as that snare drum. And because I realised through working in studios and working live for many years, a deep snare drum is a bit more flexible. Piccolos are great, the little thin snare drums, but they're like... And in some musical situations, they're a little bit not so useful. And with a deep drum, you can tune it up or you can tune it down. So that's why I went for this size. Now, I just want to briefly discuss some basic hand techniques that drummers have to learn, or should learn, when it comes to playing the drums. For the snare drum, which is the central drum of the drum set, because the snare drum existed before the drum set existed. And in the beginning of the 20th century, when they finally put the drum kit together, it was made up of a bass drum, a snare drum, a low boy, which is a little hi-hat, 2 cymbals down on the ground, and a couple of wood blocks or skulls. And they would sort of do funny little drumming. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at is for a drummer to play well, they need to learn certain sticking patterns on the snare drum. Now, these patterns are called rudiments. And anyone who knows the word rudiment, it means the most basic form or the most basic skills you need to do something. So I don't play tennis, but I would imagine the rudiments of tennis are probably serving, backhand, what's that one, forehand, volley, I don't know. But there's certain things you must be able to do. As a kid, I used to ride a skateboard, so ollie, kickflip, stall, 360, etc. If you can't do those basic skills, you can't ride the skateboard. But surprisingly enough, a lot of drummers don't learn these rudiments because it's all too boring. And when things are boring, the sad reality is, it's not boring, you're boring, so boring you're boring yourself. And that's when people get bored, because they're boring. And just read a book, play chess, go to the park, learn some rudiments, and you'll stop being bored. Now, computer games will not solve that problem. You need to do something else. Now, with this snare drum, there's these rudiments. Originally, there was 26 snare drum rudiments, meaning different sticking patterns. My book, Progressive Rhythms, has 48 snare drum rudiments. Some books have more than 100 rudiments, but they're all based on 5 rudiments. A buzz roll, which is also called the closed roll, a double stroke roll, also known as the open roll or the open roll or the long roll, mental blank, which would be this. And this is the one that most drummers don't practice because it all looks too hard and they're too lazy, but it's actually quite simple with practice. What you do 2 hits on each hand, and you have to speed it up. Now, if you practice, you can do it with one hand. Whatever. So you've got a closed roll, which also can be one hand. You've got a closed roll, an open roll, right to left, which is single strokes, So doubles, singles, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. There's flams. Don't sound like much by themselves, but when you put them together, they sound pretty cool. And you've got probably the most favourite rudiment amongst drummers, but the one that's probably most misunderstood is the paradiddle. It's called the single paradiddle. There's a single paradiddle, double paradiddle, triple paradiddle, inward paradiddle, outward paradiddle, reverse paradiddle, funkadiddles, flamadiddles, all sorts of paradiddles. The basic paradiddle is this: right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Okay, so most drummers are taught to do this. And it sounds really lousy. What the person fails to explain to them, or they fail to work out themselves, is you do one loud hit and 3 quiet hits. And it's right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. And you speed up. Now, there's all sorts of variations of paradiddles. If you learn these rudiments, the way I look at them is drumming is a language. Music is a language. It portrays emotions and thoughts. If it wasn't for the music of wonderful composers like Bach and Salieri and Mozart, whoever it is, or rhythms from Africa or Cuba or China, we wouldn't be moved in movies half the time because it's the music that's making you sad or scared half the time. So it is a language. The words of the drumming language are these rudiments. Too many drummers just learn right to left. And they just go right, left, right, left, right, left. Also boring. So if you learn paradiddles, double strokes, flams, and all these other cool things on the snare drum, you can say different things. Sorry, Mr. Microphone. So I'm now going to play another song and use some of these ideas with my feet, because that's why I can do. The reason I can do this stuff with my feet is because I learned to do these things with my feet as well. I'm not going to go through all those again with my feet. So I'm going to play another song. I'll bring this microphone stand over here.